Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Jungle Show. Today we are live here to discuss Auburn's season opening win over George Mason, 70-52. The Tigers are now 1-0, moving on to their game against South Florida tonight, which we'll also be live for. We're able to watch the game live and kind of give you y'all's immediate thoughts, but we thought we would go live and discuss and recap Auburn's first victory over George Mason. All that and more next on the Jungle Show. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back. Again, we are back for the Jungle Show, another edition, and a season recap edition. First game recap, officially, obviously.
Not season.
The UAH recap, which was the exhibition, but now we are here to talk about a game that counts, and it is count on Auburn's record. Auburn is now 1-0 with their victory over George Mason in the season opener. 70-52 was the final. We're here to talk all about that game, what happened in the game, some of the stats, and our thoughts. And to do that, I brought in my dad and co-host, Dad. We're back. How are you?
I am good. It's always fun to talk about real basketball games. And tonight we get to talk about one that happened and get ready to watch one that is going to happen.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we're the pre-game.
Yeah, we've started this right as the season ended last year. And never, I mean, this is our first time getting to talk about an actual game that counts on Auburn's record that is like real, I guess.
Yeah,
you would say. But I'm so happy to be back. Basketball season is here. Obviously, football season on the tail end. Some hype around some football, and we can talk about that a little bit with when we're watching the live party. But we're here to talk Auburn basketball. So. Hot Man, it's good to see you back. Good evening to all. Obviously, yes, it is a great evening because not only do we get to talk about Auburn basketball, but we get to watch Auburn basketball because it's
dang right. Dang right.
So, moving on, we'll
let's talk about the George Mason game.
Let's talk about some George Mason. So obviously, Auburn's home season opener against the George Mason team that you thought they were kind of good. I kind of heard that they were not as good, as we mentioned in the last show. And I don't really know, obviously you can't tell off a team like George Mason, especially off of a game like they just had against Auburn. But I mean, that's not a bad basketball team. They struggled to shoot from the floor a little bit, shot better from 3-point range, but they only scored 52 points in a game. I think Auburn showed its not dominance, but superiority in this game.
All right, so George Mason is a team that brings back the leading scorer in their conference. Mm-hmm. They're picked fifth in the conference, but they bring back the leading scorer. They last year were a very efficient 3-point shooting team, which kind of scared me going in because if we give up some threes, that's how a overmatched team stays in a ball game.
Yeah,
is they trade 3 for 2 every time down the floor. They did not like to get up and down the floor last year, and we do. So I was hoping that would prove costly for them, and it did. But they're well coached. The guy I remember watching him play at Missouri. He was a great basketball player, and he's a good coach. So you figure may as well let's watch it and see what goes on.
Yeah, for sure. So talking about some stats from this game, Wendell Green led the Auburn Tigers with 16 points, shooting 5 of 14 from the field, and then Janai Broome and Jalen Williams followed with 12. Or no, not Jalen Williams. Katie Johnson followed with 12 points each. So let's talk about the starting lineup a little bit. The starting lineup was Wendell Green, Jalen Williams, Janai Broome, Chris Moore, and Zep Jasper. I, I think you predicted that starting lineup, back a few weeks ago, a show a while ago. But I think it was good. I think they played well together. Obviously, the start of the game was fantastic. Jumped out to a 15-2 lead or something like that, 15-4 lead. So obviously, getting a good start is something that we haven't seen from Auburn basketball. Not a lot in terms of, especially start the first game of the season like that. That was a huge momentum boost. But and then George Mason kind of climbed back not into the game, but in range of the game later in the second half. But
before halftime,
talk about the starting lineup. Obviously, Wendell is point guard one. Obviously, the offense is going to run through Wendell Green a lot this season. What do you think about?
Love what I saw from Wendell in this game. A couple of things. He was trying to get his team involved early. He was trying to get guys going quicker and not looking for his own shot necessarily early. I rewatched it yesterday, I guess, and wanted to watch a couple things. Wanted to see Wendell and kind of look at what he was trying to do early on. There was a time when he was on the right wing, pump fake, drove into the lane, and threw a pass behind his own ear to Chris Moore, I think is who he hit, cutting down the lane. And I thought, wow, he's a really good passer, but it's not necessarily what you would have seen last year. A lot of the times he's going to try to lay that ball up with a reverse layup. No, he literally threw it behind his ear. In the second half, he made an underhand off the dribble pass to Janai for a dunk. That's the PG1 that I want to see. Do I want him to shoot better from outside? I want all these guys to shoot better from outside.
He would 1 of 4 in this game, yeah.
But he's gonna. What I did like about him and Zep, and I mentioned this on Twitter during the game, is if people were running at them from 3, they were taking about 2 dribbles into that elbow and getting a 15 or 16 foot jumper, and both of them made that at a pretty consistent clip. That's a good sign, because when they get into that elbow line area, both of those guys are able to shoot, pass, whatever from that spot.
They have more options.
So giving up a guarded 3 to get a unguarded 15-foot jumper that they're going to make, I'll take it right now. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, just like you said, I love him taking a few dribbles in, taking that 15 to 18-foot shot.
Yep.
Zeps didn't fall tonight, and we'll talk about this in a minute. But it looked like the team was kind of vamped up a little bit, a little too hyper, a little too, feeding off the crowd a little too much. Obviously, that's a good thing, but not when it comes to shooting, especially early in the game. Auburn only shot 16% from 3-point line in this game, going 4 of 25. That's not good. But you want to see that improve. And I think that's going to be a huge thing tonight, wanting that to improve to, hey, if we can get it from 16 to 25 or 27 or 28, that's a huge jump. But it just takes like 2 or 3 more.
If we'd have shot 30% the other night, that's a 30-point win.
Exactly.
It's a literal blowout. None of the 3-point, I take that back. Maybe one of the 3-pointers was one where I went, no, that's a bad shot.
No, yeah.
They're wide open shots. Yeah. Now, there are reasons. I used to say this about Devin Cambridge, who, by the way, is playing really well for Arizona State right now. Went 3 of 3 from 3-point range last night. What? But I used to say this about Devin last year, is there's a reason you're wide open from 3. They're not coming out to guard you. They're afraid of you driving. KD took a couple of early looks and missed them, but then he took the ball to the hole. That's all I want from. I want him to take the ball to the rack, because he finishes through contact. He can shoot his free throws, something we didn't do very well in the first half at all. And he sees the ball go in the hoop. all of a sudden he builds that confidence, and then he can stroke that three. And he ended up doing it. He's the only player on the team who made more than one 3-pointer.
Yep.
Got to get better at that, though. I'm sorry, we're still talking about the starting five. The other thing that I liked from that guards, Wynn, Zepp, and Chris Moore, I'll include, is that perimeter defense is salty.
Yeah, and I know we're still talking about the starting lineup, but you have those three, and then you bring in Trey Donaldson and KD Johnson, who are more I would say are more athletic and I would say dirtier when it comes to defense than those two. But the fresh legs, I mean, the defense, the Auburn's defense was outstanding in this game. It is by far the best part of this whole game. I mean, how many blocks did Brew have?
We will go as far 10 blocks. We will go as far as our defense will take us, and that's a good thing because defense will travel, and Bruce is deep enough in this year to say, I want you to play defense until your legs can't move anymore. And then hold up your hand, get out. I've got another guy coming right in. We're not going to lose pace. Look, Trey Donaldson, I didn't expect him to play much this year.
Yeah.
He's getting big minutes with Westry out. And the kid, yes, he's more athletic than almost anybody on the floor. The kid was a top 20 safety prospect, signed with Auburn to play football. Not going to see the football field. Because he's going to be a really good basketball player. Strong, fast, can jump, and you add him and like you said, KD coming off the bench, and and then Flanagan coming off the bench too. Those three are elite defenders on the perimeter.
Yeah,
elite. So, but I like the way we started and are attacking people on defense. We seem to be a little bit more engaged in full court pressure too.
Yeah.
Last year it was kind of just there to slow people down. This year it looked like we were trying to mess with them.
Yeah, I think Auburn's deeper than we were last year. So I think that allows Bruce and the coaches to say, okay, let's not only just try and get the inbounds pass or try and slow people down from getting out in transition, but let's see if we can get extra possessions and steals and hype up the crowd. I mean, that's an aspect of a full court pressure too, especially with KD Johnson on the court. But yeah, you're exactly right. So I do want to talk a little bit about KD though. And we mentioned this when we were talking about the shooting. All of KD's 3-point looks were great looks.
Yep.
All the shots were like, that's going in, that's going in, that's going in. And they didn't. He went 2 of 9 from 3. He made 2 of them. He made 0 in the exhibition. He made 2 in that game. He was the only person that made double.
Yep. One person made more than one. Yeah.
But he went 2 of 9. Those shots are going to fall.
Yeah, I don't mind him shooting 9 3-pointers. I mind him shooting 14 and missing all of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
9, when you're wide open, all of those shots, Bruce Pearl, I'm sure, was like, yes, shoot the basketball. Mm-hmm. And I think he'd have gotten mad at him had he not shot the basketball when you're that wide open. Because he is a shooter. He can do it. He just needs to get that confidence back that he had before the injury in the Georgia game last year.
Yeah.
He injured his hand.
100%.
It changed it. Yep.
So, talking more about the bench, we talked about Trey Donaldson. I'll talk about Yohan Traore a little bit. And I think some people on Twitter were like, that's a 5-star recruit. He only had 6 points and 4 rebounds. He's coming off the bench. I think, and people are going to be like, wait a minute, but Jabari didn't start off well last year.
No.
Jabari had some games where he had 9 points, 6 points, 8 points, stuff like that. And I don't think Traore is in need of a role as Jabari is. due to our depth. I think he just adds to it. I think he just adds to the depth. I think him coming off the bench and Jalen in the starting lineup needs to stay like that. And, 2-3 weeks ago, I would have disagreed with myself, but I think that needs to stay like that.
Well, and Traore is not – to compare him to Jabari is not fair. He's not been playing basketball as long as Jabari. Jabari started playing basketball as soon as he could walk.
Yep.
And was an NBA player coming out of high school.
Yeah.
Came in and he knew the game. He knew where to be, when to be there. Mm-hmm. And he had worked. His dad was an NBA player, worked him out all the time. He worked out all the time. Traore hadn't been playing that long, but has special skills. He took a couple threes, missed them, but they look good. His shot looks good and is going to go in. He's going to be a good player. You don't need to get worried because he had 6 points.
Yeah.
He's gonna sit behind Jalen, I think, for most of the year unless he really breaks out, because Jalen plays really well. He didn't shoot the ball well the other night, but we know what Jalen can
every
do.
Shot that Jalen shoots
looks like it's going in.
It's gonna go in. You're like, okay, that's a great shot. We get a shot for Jalen. I don't care where it is. I don't care who's guarding it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all right. Shoot it.
He's got that hook shot where he jumps into the player.
Okay, so
it's impossible to block that shot.
You remember a few weeks ago when I told you about that shot that he made against Kentucky? Mm-hmm. Remember when I was mentioning that, and I was like, or maybe it was last week. Maybe it was last week when it was like, I was comparing. He just made a shot like he did in the exhibition game last Wednesday. He made that exact same shot in this game where he was dribbling around. He goes into him and then kind of hooks it, and it goes in. And it doesn't matter where he is on the floor.
Yeah,
he knows where he is on the floor, and that's something that's very special about Jalen. And I'll say the same thing about Wendell Green. They know where they are on the floor at the same time, but that's beside my point.
Yeah,
Jalen's going to make those shots. Jalen makes shots that the 2 threes that he had were wide open looks. He just missed them. But then that shot, I was like, any other player on this team that shoots that shot, no chance.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Traore, but Jalen's going to make those. And you want Jalen to shoot.
That hook shot is deadly because it can't be blocked because he's on top of you shooting it. Yeah. You can't jump because you'll foul him.
Yeah.
So that shot can't be blocked. So I think he'll play better tonight. I'm looking forward to watching him play tonight and see how he feels. And then the other position we got to talk about is the center position. Janai started.
Janai looked so much better than he did in the exhibition game.
Yeah, he did.
Night and day, y'all. Night and day.
And he will chirp the entire game. He is a talker.
I know.
He's going to get somebody's going to take a swing at him before the end of the year. And I love
watching this game, I was like, "There's the difference in him and Walker Kessler."
Oh yeah,
Kessler would have been like, "That was a good attempt."
Yeah,
Janai's going to say, "I do that again."
Yeah, I got it. Yeah,
do it again.
That crap again. I'm going to throw it back in your face. Great, fun to watch player. Sometimes I think, and it's probably because he's trying to get used to this level and this speed. Sometimes in that game, I felt like his upper body was behind his lower body. His feet were moving so fast, and he missed a couple shots. But that little hook that he made off about 2 or 3 fakes is impressive. And he has got a soft jump shot.
Yep.
And then the play where Wendell threw it off the backboard to him and quote unquote charged into the guy was one of those that brings the house down because it was fantastic.
Yeah, no, talking about Janai, his post presence is, he's the back to the basket center that we're seeing in college. That's more successful in college than more of a pro typical. Obviously, Walker Kessler's second in the NBA in blocks right now. He's a pro player, and did you not know that he's second in the NBA in blocks? That's fantastic. He played outstanding the other night.
So good. Coming off the bench.
Yeah, exactly. That should change.
On maybe the best team in the NBA right now, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, record-wise, it's them and Milwaukee. Anyway, I'm sorry.
That's ridiculous. Um,
but Janai had 4 blocks.
Janai is more of a back to the basket, college successful, prototypical good guy. You looked like guys currently in the league, right, or currently in college right now. Drew Timme, he's very similar to him in his movement and scoring wise in the post. Oscar Tshiebwe is the same way. Armando Bacot's the same way. Those are probably the 3 best players in college basketball right now.
Yeah.
So he's very similar to that, and he's got the length and the timing that somebody like Kessler showed how much of an advantage that is to blocking shots. He had 4 blocks. Cardwell had 5 blocks. Cardwell
had 6, didn't he? Oh no, he had 5, and somebody else had 1. Yep.
Yeah. Cardwell looked so much better than he did. The center position, we were panicking. I was panicking a little bit last week. We were talking about the exhibition game. Cardwell looked so much better.
Yeah, this was totally different.
It was these centers look night and day to what they did.
And let me add something on to so when Broom is in the game with Wendell and they run high screen and roll, Broom does not roll to the basket. Broom rolls to about 10, 15 feet. Rolls to the free throw line.
Spot. Yeah.
And it's different because when Cardwell was in the game with Wendell, Cardwell came out and set the screen, rolled to the basket, and got an alley-oop dunk right away. So it's a different way, and I don't know if they're coaching Broom to do it that way or what they're trying to. It interests me, and I want to watch it again tonight and kind of see, is he rolling to the basket now? Is he a pick and pop guy? Because he's not really a 3-point threat, but if he can get it in that mid post area off the pick and roll, he's probably deadly because then he's against the other team's point guard.
Yeah, for sure. There's one more player I want to talk about before we talk about a little bit of more of the team stats is Allen Flanigan. Flanigan went 0 for 5 in this game, 0 for 2 from 3, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, had 3 points and 2 rebounds. I say that, and I quickly turn into panic mode. Okay, why is Allen? What's going on? No, I don't think that needs to be a problem at all. Again, I think his role's different. I think his role's been different every single year he's been here.
We're tough on a kid.
Of course it is. It's very tough. You talk about his role his freshman year. I don't think he should have played a lot his freshman year. That was the COVID year. He was not ready. He had games where he went for 12, but most games he went 0 for 5, just like he did in this one. Then his sophomore year, he averaged 20 a game and was all SEC and was outstanding playing the point guard position, which wasn't his natural position.
No.
Then he gets hurt and didn't fit on last year's team. Also had I believe a confidence issue. With some of the early games he played, he didn't have as much success in. And now he's in a completely different role where he's back being healthy, but he's playing with new guys. And, I don't think we should push the panic mode, especially in the first game, considering how everybody else shot. If we push the panic mode for Zep, we've got panic mode for Donald, Zep Jasper, maybe Katie Johnson, and maybe Jasper.
If you're pushing panic mode over shooting, then you're going to push a lot of panic buttons.
Yeah, absolutely. Those shots will fall.
If you watch Allen's game, he defended in that game as hard as anyone. He is an elite defender on the outside.
Yep.
And there was a play in the second half that he pump faked on the perimeter. The guy bid on it, and he drove, and he was cocking the ball down by his leg because he was getting ready to pull the house down, and he got fouled. And the guy grabbed his arm and knocked the ball out of his hand, went to the line, and made his free throws. So he's fine. He's fine. Watch him play tonight. Let's see how he does tonight. Let's see how he fits. He's the type of guy that's got, like you said, he's got to find his fit. When he finds his fit, and one part of his fit is, hey, you're a lockdown defender.
Yep.
And you're replacing Chris Moore. You or Chris Moore are both good defenders.
Yep.
Use that. And you're off. Play defense. Your offense will come. Play defense as hard as you can. Your offense will come. By the way, Chris Moore made a 3-pointer.
That's a beautiful shot, too.
Who knew from the corner?
It was a beautiful corner shot, too.
It was.
It was 1-of-1.
Yeah. Yeah.
That works. All right. So a couple team stats I want to talk about because we're going to quickly end this. That way we can get ready for the watch party. I think we'll just do a first half watch party for the game against. Yeah, we'll just see how this goes because I've been thinking about that idea for a bit now. But some team stats that I want to point out: we only outscored them in the paint only by 4. We caused 19 turnovers and had 21 points off of. I think look, that's how Auburn's going to beat teams. Causing turnovers, causing a ruckus, especially with defense and our defensive guards. You cause ruckus, you're going to get turnovers. If you can get outlets and breaks off of them, you're going to score because you've got completely athletic players.
Freaks. Yeah.
For sure. But in that point, we didn't have a lot of transition buckets in this game. Only had 5 fast break points in this game. I'd expect more tonight from this Auburn team, especially to push the pace a little more. Look for open shots, look for scoring lanes in transition, that sort of thing. 14 steals. Thanks, KD Johnson. I guess I don't know. He's so aggressive.
He's so good at that. Here's my thing on KD and stealing it. So, and one more real quick point. We'd have had 3 more fast break points if they don't call a charge on KD when he's jumping around a guy on a fast break when he's taking the ball to the hole. The guy fouled
him. Exactly
he laid it in.
That's exactly what Wendell did when he threw it off the glass.
Perfect.
Went around him.
So anyway, get off that soapbox. The thing that KD does, he anticipates where the ball's going to go very well.
Yep.
There were 2 times in that game where he did not do it well, or late in the first half and midway through the second half. Late in the first half, when they were starting to make some threes, he left his man because he thought he could make a steal from behind a guy, and they found his man wide open 3, bang. Yeah. Same thing happened in the second half. I don't want him to leave his guy unless he's got somebody to back him up.
Yeah.
And sometimes that aggressiveness, it didn't hurt us in a game we win by 18. It may hurt us in a game we are in a battle to the very end. So I want him. I'm sure the coaches saw that on tape and went, what were you thinking here? You left the guy wide open at the 3. And yeah, if you get a steal, it's great. But you're really guessing there. But his anticipation of being in the right spot on passes, it's really good. He's a real, again, elite level defender. Who's the player of the game?
It's Wendell Green for me. He had 16 points. He showed his kind of leadership role of the offense. The offense will run through Wendell Green, just like I said earlier in the show. I think it's Wendell. And
I would agree.
Yeah, I think we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Good game by Wendell. Good.
But yeah, we will go ahead and end this one, and then I'll quickly schedule our live to start right before 7. We're gonna start it at 6:55, and we're gonna watch the first half together. We're gonna see how it can go.
Y'all come in.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people on right now, but y'all tell your friends, jump in, watch it with us.
Yeah. Combat our thoughts. We'll talk about some of the stuff going around. Talk about more about basketball. Give us our immediate thoughts on what's happening in the game in the first half. Maybe talk a little bit about Auburn football. Just a little bit in there. But
maybe during time.
All that and more next. Yeah, all that and more on the Jungle Show. We'll see y'all in just a little bit.
War Eagle.